Today we are going to complete our discussion of the question, what do genes look like? Yesterday we discussed how cells copy the information carried in our chromosomes. Chromosomes are coiled structures of DNA and protein that form in the cell when the cell prepares to divide in the process of the cell cycle. Chromosomes help make cell division a much more orderly process. Yesterday we also learned about the overall structure of DNA, the molecule that makes up our chromosomes. DNA is a double-stranded molecule that looks much like a twisted ladder. The rungs of the ladder are made up of nitrogen bases, and the sides of the ladder are made up of sugar and phosphates. We also learned about how DNA makes a copy of itself during the process of replication. During replication, the DNA molecule unzips and the bases pair up on each of the strands to make two new strands of DNA. Today we will look at how the code in DNA is used to create proteins. By now you should have completed the section titled, What is a Protein? At the Tour of the Basics animation. If you have not, please complete the animation before you continue. When we completed our cell analogy projects, many of you compared the nucleus to a mother, a father, a boss in a factory, or a principal at a school. That is because the nucleus is where the DNA is housed. DNA cannot leave the nucleus, yet it is responsible for carrying the code that creates all of an organism's traits and characteristics. DNA is the molecule that controls all of the activities of the cell. A copy of the DNA code is made in the nucleus into an RNA molecule. RNA is the molecule that travels to the ribosome where the code is read and the protein is assembled. The nitrogen bases in every gene make a code. Every 3 bases makes one codon. One codon is the code for one amino acid. Long chains of amino acids make proteins. Proteins determine an organism's traits and characteristics. They also play a vital role in the activities of all cells. Here's a diagram that illustrates the process of creating proteins. As you can see, the RNA strand exits through one of the pores in the nuclear membrane. It travels to a ribosome where the code is read. Transfer RNA molecules pair with the bases in the messenger RNA molecule. When those bases pair up, the transfer RNA molecules drop off their amino acids. As the messenger RNA continues to travel through the ribosome, transfer RNA molecules continue to pair up with the complementary bases. The growing chain of amino acids gets longer and longer until a stop codon is reached. When the stop codon is reached, the amino acid chain breaks away and folds to become a protein. The protein can then be used by the cell or body for its particular function. Let's take a moment to practice the process of creating a protein. At the top of your screen, you have 1/2 of a DNA molecule. Below it, you have the complementary RNA strand. As you can see, this is a bit different from the rules that we learned yesterday. In RNA, there is no thymine. Instead, thymine is replaced with uracil. So when a strand of RNA is created from a DNA molecule, adenine will pair with uracil. Each one of the codons, or sequences of 3 RNA bases, represents one amino acid. The first 3 codons have been done for you. The codon UAU codes for the amino acid tyrosine. To find this, start in the middle of the genetic code wheel with the largest letter and then work yourself toward the amino acid name. For example, the second codon, CGA, codes for the amino acid arginine. The third codon, GGC, codes for the amino acid glycine. See if you can fill in the blanks. Which amino acid does the codon AAU code for? If you answered asparagine, you are correct. Now try a couple of these on your own. On a sheet of paper, write down this DNA sequence. For the DNA, list the correct RNA codons. Pause the video to give yourself time to complete this activity. The first RNA codon created is AAU, which stands for adenine, adenine, and uracil. The second RNA codon is AAA. The third RNA codon is GGG. The fourth and final codon is UUA. Now that you've gotten the correct RNA sequence, see if you can't get the correct amino acid sequence using the RNA codons. Pause the video to give yourself time to complete this activity. The first RNA codon, AAU, codes for the amino acid asparagine. The second RNA codon, AAA, codes for the amino acid lysine. The third RNA codon, GGG, codes for the amino acid glycine. The fourth and final codon, UUA, codes for the amino acid leucine. The protein that you just created can now be used by the cell. Let's give this one more try. Pause the video to give yourself time to write down the correct RNA codons that would pair with this strand of DNA. Now that you've gotten the RNA sequence, give yourself time to get the amino acid sequence using these RNA codons. Protein synthesis is now complete. The protein that you just created can now be used by the cell. Remember, protein production is a vital part of cell activity. Proteins are the workhorse of the body. They are the building blocks of the body, and they are responsible for many cellular activities.